Hello, welcome back after a very long time. Welcome back to Apple Makes. First off, I just want to say I'm so sorry for not uploading. I think it's been maybe 3 months. Oh my god, I think the last video I uploaded was in March. Lots been going on, but I did want to film a new episode of Yarn Time today. I have a new setup, as you can obviously tell. I'm also in a different space. I moved back to my parents' house for the summertime before. I'm gonna probably film a separate sort of life update video, so I will talk a little bit more about that in that video. But lots been going on. But I do have some stuff that I've been working on knitting wise, and I also thought it would be a fun video today to go through all of my UFOs and like talk a little bit about them and what my plans are. Like I said, I moved back to my parents' house for the summer and I brought all of my knitting stuff with me. So I have like this huge bag down here of just projects. So I'm gonna go through them and just talk about like, my thought process with them and if I'm planning on finishing them or what I'm gonna do with them. But yeah, I'm excited to be filming a new video. I have figured out a way to film on my phone using actually the back camera, so I'm hoping that this will be like a little bit better quality. So I have it like hooked up to my computer so I can still see myself. But I don't know, like the framing might be a little weird because it is a little like off to the side. So if you see me like looking kind of in a weird direction, it's because I'm looking at my computer screen, which is a little bit off to the side, just to make sure that I'm like still in the frame and everything like that. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start obviously with anything I finished, and it is just one piece that I have finished today. I also only have one active whip, and then we're gonna get into like my big bag of UFOs. So let's get into it. All right, so my one and only finished object is I think I showed this in whip form in my last yarn time, and I did finish it a while back, and it is summer now, so I haven't really had the chance to wear it. I think I did wear it a few times to work when it was still a little chilly outside, but it is my Terrazzo sweater. So let me just make sure that you can see. So here it is. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, so this is my Terrazzo sweater, and I am really happy with how it came out. So just to start off, the yarn that I used for this is Winter Glow. I don't think they really have like colorway names. So like if you go on Hobbie's website, this Winter Glow, it comes in 200-gram skeins, so it's like huge balls, and I think I really only use like one and maybe like a quarter. But like I said, it doesn't really have a color name. It just has like what colors are found in the mix. So it's sort of like, I think like blue, green, gray, gold, or something like that, which is, pretty accurate to the colors that you do see here. And I held it with a strand of alpaca superlight from Lang Yarns, which I quite like, because I've really been trying to use alpaca instead of mohair, because I do have, I think, a bit of a mohair sensitivity. So this I can wear very comfortably on bare skin, which is great. And the color for the superlight, I think, was just like their light gray or something like that. So yeah, so this is the Terrazzo sweater, and the pattern, of course, is from Petite Knit. Sorry, I'm like doing such a bad job of showing it off. But I did make a few modifications, so I'll talk about those. So I think the first one that is the most obvious is that I didn't make such a super long neck like she has in the original pattern. So like in her original pattern, it's like super long. I think like 9 inches, in the idea it's supposed to be sort of like a roll neck, but I thought that would maybe be like a little bit too stuffy for what I wanted. So I went ahead and shortened it to more like 5 inches, I think. And I think that works a little bit better because that way I can wear it still like unrolled up, but then I can roll it up to make sort of like a mock neck situation, which also works nicely for me. So that's one modification that I did make, which was pretty simple. And then the other one was for all of the ribbing, I just did regular ribbing instead of twisted rib, because for me, I do tend to like regular rib a little bit better. I think It looks more fluffy, which is nice, and I think kind of more suitable to the fabric. Uh, but I think if I were to make it again, I would go maybe for the twisted rib if I did like a different yarn combination, because I think that also looks nice. Like it looks a little bit more neat, I guess. And then the other modification I made is on the bottom. You can't really see it that well. I'm sorry, it's a little wrinkly because it's been in my suitcase. But the bottom, I did do a split hem. Oops, a little out of focus. I did do a split hem. I didn't make the back longer. I was thinking about it, but in the end, I just decided against it. I don't really remember why. I think I was just probably lazy. But it is a split hem, and it is a little bit cropped compared to the original, I think, which I think is nice. So it sits perfectly at my hips, and the split hem just adds a little bit of a detail, which I think is nice. I haven't washed and blocked it. I haven't, it is all just stockinette pretty much. So there's no like real like shaping that needs to be done. So, it may grow a little bit, but I don't think it will grow that much because both the Winter Glow and the Superlight have quite a lot of synthetic content in it. So I don't think it will grow very much. Which I think that would be good because this is like a great size for it to be at. I think if anything, I will maybe just pull the cuffs out a little bit so that, I don't know, so that they're not so like cinched in. Sorry, I'm also not mirrored on my computer screen, so I keep showing things like on the wrong side. So yeah, just bear with me as I get used to this setup. But yeah, so that is my finished piece. I'm obviously not going to put it on because it's quite warm today. It is, the end of June, so it is getting quite hot. But yeah, really happy with this, and I definitely want to knit more Terrazzo sweaters. I mentioned it in my previous yarn time, but I got my hands on the yarn that she used, that Petite Knit uses in her original sample. I'm blanking on what it's called, but it is a Noro yarn. And so I did get my hands on that, and then I got like a really, really pretty hand-dyed Surrey alpaca to hold with it. So I'm excited to knit that up, next fall, or I guess in the upcoming fall, because this is just such a great classic pattern. And I think it really looks good on everybody. I actually had my friend try it on. It looked really good on her too, and I have actually more Winter Glow in like more of like a pinky colorway, so I might knit another one for her as well. But yeah, so that's the only finished object that I do have, and I have one whip that I'm also going to show you that I have been working on for a really long time. So let me go get that. Alright, so the whip that I have is another whip that I was still working on in my previous yarn time, and it is that green cardigan. Whoa, it looks really bright on camera. So it is that green cardigan, and again, this is also kind of wrinkly because it's been sitting in a bag, that I'm more or less following this French pattern that I found on Ravelry. So, as always, I always link the patterns in the description so you can check it out. But it's a really simple circular yoke pattern, and I picked it because I wanted a cardigan that was more like fit to the body, and so this sort of seemed like what I wanted, and I'm just doing it all in this jasmine green color. I am also forgetting what this yarn is off the top of my head, so I apologize, but I will link it down below. Oh no, I think it's a Cascade. Yeah, this is a Cascade Heritage sock, which comes in a ton of colors. And so here's just what I have left of it. So the other concern that I am having is I am finishing up the cuff of the first sleeve. So you can see here, I'm trying to make a bit of a longer cuff because I think that will look nice. Probably have maybe like another inch or so to go on the cuff. But I do have an entire other sleeve left to do, and I am a little worried, like with this amount of yarn that I have, that it may not. I don't think it's gonna happen personally, so I'm probably gonna have to get another hank, which is a little frustrating because I was hoping to be able to finish this up all in the 2 hanks that I did get. But the nice thing is that Wool and Company, I forget, I think That's what they're called. So where I got the yarn from, so they're a yarn shop out in like the Midwest or something. They do wind up hanks for you, which is nice because that is kind of a pain to do. So I mean, worst comes to worst, I'll just order some more yarn from them and add another hank. But this is, I think, a nice summer knit for me. Like this is just going to be a nice light cardigan to wear, like on top of tank tops and things like that. And yeah, I'm pretty happy to I don't know, hopefully have this in my collection soon. But we'll see. It's definitely been quite the long journey on this one. I've been really busy over the past few months, which is why I haven't posted. But it also means that, of course, I haven't had that much time to knit. So I'm definitely slowing down a little bit, but I am hoping this summer to have some more free time to get caught up on projects and maybe do some more summer knits. So that's kind of the hope and the plan. So let me put away this one whip and I'm gonna get my big bag of UFOs and try to just get through them. It's gonna be also refreshing my memory as well because some of these I haven't seen in quite a while. So let me go get that and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. So my phone just told me that my camera is too hot and so hopefully nothing's going to explode. But I have my bag of whips with me, so I'm gonna just go through as many as I can, I guess, and just talk about what they are and what my plans are, I guess. So first up, I have one of the more earlier pieces that I did. So this is I guess this is like a dupe cardigan. So I don't remember the original designer, but Tiffany Lou, one of her videos, like first videos that I ever watched of hers, was where she made this cardigan, this lavender cardigan that Kendall Jenner was wearing, and I really, really liked it as well. Okay, so it did turn off my recording. I don't know if it's gonna happen again. If it happens again, I may have to maybe charge my phone, let it cool down, and whatever. I don't know. I think maybe because it's hooked up to my computer, it's kind of under extra load. Anyways, what I was saying is I also really liked the color on this because I was really into lavender at the time. And so when she released the pattern, I went ahead and used it really more as a reference. So if you go to the Ravelry I have for this project, you can see I've taken a lot of notes on how I've kind of approached this as more of like a top-down piece, as instead of piecing it together and sewing it together or seaming it together, which I think is the pattern that she has. But yeah, so I'm definitely not abandoning this. I just had other patterns that I wanted to try, I guess, to kind of, I don't know, practice other techniques. But this was the first time that I had ever done cables, and so, you know, that was very exciting. And I am definitely planning on finishing this. Maybe towards the end of the summer, I think would be nice. I mean, this is definitely supposed to be a spring pattern, but I think it is nice for like any sort of transitional time. And I am excited to do the flower embroidery on this. So, you know, it's definitely still in the works, but I just had other projects that I was more prioritizing. But I think this should be really quick because it is such a high gauge. I think I did these on not 8mm, but I think I did these on maybe like 6 or 7. I hope I wrote this down because I definitely don't remember. But I think it should go pretty quickly. I am planning on adding cables to the sleeves, just to add a little bit more interest, but you know, the sleeves will just be, you know, more or less quick to do. And then I did really like the double ribbing on this, which I do want to do again another project because I think the tubular bind off on, ooh, this is so out of focus. The tubular bind off on the 2x2 ribbing is really cute and a fun technique that I would want to try again. So that's the first one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that away and then we'll move on to the next UFO. Okay, all right. My phone shut off again. So I took the case off and maybe it will help, but you know, really this is getting kind of annoying. Anyways, so the next UFO is one that I'm planning on frogging actually. So I don't know if I've shown this in yarn time before. I might have, But it is this cardigan, so this blob here. This blob here is, used to be the start of a cardigan that I was planning on making for my brother. I asked him, you know, what do you want? He said a blue open front cardigan, so I thought that I would freestyle it, but it just wasn't going well. Like, I wasn't happy with it. It was, you know, it was just so many rows back and forth, and it was just kind of boring me to tears. And so I tried to rescue my interest in it by adding some like stitch texture here, which maybe you can kind of see, but it just wasn't going very well because, you know, I just don't have the skills yet to be able to freestyle something like that cleanly. And especially around the raglan area, it was just getting very messy. So I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna just frog it and restart it with an actual pattern. And I do have a few patterns that I might try to use. I don't know if I like love any of them that much, but I definitely do want to pick this back up maybe next winter, because I think it would be nice to give my brother another piece, because I did gift him the Ingrid sweater that I finished from a few yarn times ago. And I think this, I don't know, the color is just really nice. It's this like medium denim blue from Hobbii, and so I might even just like leave this, like not really frog it, because frogging sort of saps my will to live, to be honest, because I do have like a huge bag of yarn left that I could just start knitting from, and then once I like get some momentum going on the project, then I can go back and frog it. So, you know, we'll see. But like I said, I haven't really found a pattern that I love for this yarn yet. I do have a few, but, you know, none of them are really like really tickling my fancy that much. So yeah, so this UFO is definitely going to be frogged, and the question will just be when. So we'll see. All right, so let me go ahead and put this away. My project bag fell on the floor. Ugh. Okay, I can't get it. I'm too high off the ground. But I'm gonna just stuff this back into here and move on to the next thing. All right, next item is my other my other Ingrid sweater, which I'm planning on knitting for myself. And I did show this in a previous yarn time. I don't remember the state that it was in. I probably didn't get that much done on it since then. But you can see I finished the body, and I am in the midst of another sleeve. I haven't touched this in quite some time. Obviously, as the weather got warmer, my kind of incentive to keep working on it went down. But I am excited to keep working on this. And, you know, Ingrid sweater is just such a classic. You know, it just looks good in pretty much any yarn combination. For this one, I am using I think, what is this? This is knitpicks, I believe. They're wool of the Andes worsted in the tweed. I think it's like oyster heather or something, which is just like a really nice, like beigey neutral color. I think it will look really good with, you know, a bunch of different outfits. And the heather and the tweed, I think, just adds a little bit of nice, interesting texture on top of the actual stitch texture, which I think is, you know, a little fun. I will say though that I don't know if I really like how black the tweed speckles are. I do feel like it detracts a little bit from the pattern, but overall, you know, really happy with it. And I think this will be a really cozy fall knit, and I'm excited to have one for myself, honestly. I do have to remind myself that I am modding the sleeves, because that was my complaint with the one that I made for my brother, was that the sleeves were a little too long. So I'm going to do the same mod as with the body, is shortening the double rib section on the sleeves as well, so that it's not too huge. I just think my row gauge is maybe a little bit off on this one, which is why it's so much longer than Petite Knit's version. But yeah, so there you have it. UFO not abandoned, will be coming back to this. I just obviously had already knit an Ingrid sweater before, so I didn't feel like I needed to rush through this one. But really excited to get back to this at some point. So there you have it. All right, on to the next one. All right, the last UFO, I actually haven't really started on it, but I did want to show it because I don't know if I really talked about it that much in previous yarn times, but I do have the bag in front of me, so I might as well just talk about it. But here's the swatch. So I am planning on knitting this double ribbed turtleneck. I think the, ooh, oh, my bag of knitting just all fell down onto the floor. I think it's from the company that does Olive. What is that? What is that yarn company? I forget, but they do yarn, but they also release patterns, and I really do actually quite like their patterns. So one of their patterns is a really like classic double rib turtleneck, which is really nice. I have a few turtlenecks that I bought, like, you know, for my wardrobe, but they're all made of acrylic, and I thought it would be like a nice upgrade to make hand knit versions that are made with nice materials. So I have here some fingering weight wool in, again, this is like the oyster heather color from knitpicks. This is their palette line, so here you go, here's a tag. And then this is their aloft, and this is a mohair that I actually don't have that much sensitivity to. I mean, I think it's probably like a little bit nicer, and I think it should be fine. Like, I tested it on my neck and everything, and the swatch, I mean, it's a pretty tiny swatch, but I do feel like this is something I can wear, especially after getting washed with some wool wash. But we'll see. I mean, worst comes to worst, I can just give it to someone else, but I do think that these two yarns held together make a really pretty, like, pale blush color. So that's the cream plus the pink, I think is a really cute combo with some color depth to it. I haven't started it because anything with mohair is like super fuzzy and kind of sweaty for the summer. But again, something that I think would be nice as the weather starts getting cooler in, you know, like September, October. And then it would be a great piece to have into the winter time for like layering and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty much it actually. My bag was really big, but a lot of it is actually just yarn, so not all UFOs. But I hope that's like a nice little update from me. You know, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I think throughout this video it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride because of, you know, my new setup and working out the kinks with my phone turning on and everything like that. Because ultimately I'm just doing this as a hobby. I don't have like an actual camera or anything like that. But hopefully it's still somewhat of an enjoyable watch. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this, even with me not posting. I am hoping, like I said, to get back into the swing of things a little bit. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this whole journey. I am hoping to introduce some different types of content, like maybe some beauty related content. I've been really getting into nails recently, so like cute nail art. So kind of broadening, I guess, the scope of the channel. Obviously, it's still going to be about knitting and crafting, and I will be continuing to post updates and yarn time episodes. But yeah, I do want this channel to be about things that I like to do that are all sort of like arts and crafts related. And so if you have any suggestions for like any types of videos that you would want to see, like please let me know in the comments. Whether it be other types of knitting related videos or anything like beauty related, like would you want to see get ready with me's, or maybe like skincare videos. Would you be interested in nail art videos? Although I definitely am very much an amateur in that field as well. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm gonna try to end it here before my phone really does explode on me. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.